This is the future.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigval Green here, and welcome to another video. We got some Batman Who Laughs gameplay, and this was posted by Pao Kojima, so make sure to check out his channel. Links will be in the description, the pinned comment, and let's get into it. Okay, so we also got an ability spreadsheet, but first up we're going to just take a look at the raw gameplay of him. So he's got the Joker AI, and I'm quite happy about that. I'd rather have this than him using a new AI or an AI import from Injustice 1. That was a special there. You might notice that he's got a second bar other than his power bar, and we're gonna get into that later. He's gonna have the Joker super move too, and I mean, look, I don't really personally mind that, but I see some people why some people would mind that. But if you ask me, it's fine. It doesn't make much of a difference. I'm just happy that he's got the Joker AI, because that's a solid AI, and that's gonna be far better than importing him from Injustice 1. And yeah, he's got the second power bar, which is gonna be something else that you'll see here in a moment. There you go, he transformed! And now he's going to do something very interesting that we'll get into as we get to his abilities. I'm quite pissed that they can put transformation gameplay in the game and they didn't do it for Raven. But it is what it is. It would have been amazing to have something, some mechanics like this for Raven as well. That's what I was asking for. He's gonna have some abilities that are gonna force the opponent into doing an ability, and abilities that are going to interrupt an opponent's ability. And those are gonna use his second power bar. And yet again, that's an interesting mechanic that we'll get into. And yes, so far that's the gameplay. Now let's get into explaining the abilities and each one of them. Okay, so passive number 1, the Darkest Night. This is pretty much going to be explaining how he switches forms. So as you saw, he's going to have a second type of power bar other than the normal power bar that characters have, and that's gonna have a few uses. And one of them is going to be that as soon as this gets filled, he's going to transform. And he's going to pretty much fill it up by producing Crisis Energy. That's gonna be his second power source, other than the power bar, and this is gonna be done on successful specials. So when he reaches maximum Crisis Energy, he's going to transform into his ultimate form, the Darkest Night. And that's going to mean a few things. You're going to get 16 seconds in this form. You're going to pretty much not be able to use any abilities while you're in this form, but in exchange for that you're going to get plus 400% attack, and you're going to reduce 2% of the opponent's current health on every 4th basic attack hit, and this is going to be up to 40% per battle. Oh boy, this thing alone, like, if this was the only thing that the character did, but he's gonna do far more, but if this was the only thing that this character was gonna do, this would already be huge and would already make him one of the best characters in the game. Also, the second part of this, or at the very least what I did not mention this far, is that he's not affected by any timed buffs or debuffs while he's in this form, and he is going to ignore defense, but his percentage damage is going to be affected by blocking, as it usually happens with every single character. So this is the first passive. You use abilities to fill up your secondary bar, and when this fills up, he's going to transform for a number of seconds. And I'm so pissed off after seeing this mechanic because they didn't put it with Raven, because Raven's also got some cool ultimate form. That would have been amazing to see, but at least we get it here. At least we get it here. Second passive is called Ultimate Despair. So basically, when you're normally using your specials, you're going to use your normal bar of power. But if the enemy is going to use a special, you can use your own special to interrupt their specials. But you need to pay close attention to this, because it says that you can only use specials that are equal cost or higher. I don't think necessarily equal cost, but equal tier. Let's say the opponent uses a special 1, you can interrupt it with any special of yours. Use special 2, you have to do a special 2 or higher. Use a special 3, you have to do a special 3 or higher. So that's how it works. It's gonna inflict a permanent despair debuff that's gonna reduce the enemy's damage by 25% for the whole duration of the fight, and it stacks up to 3 times. And is going to pretty much use Crisis Energy to perform this interruption. So it's gonna cost lower than your normal abilities would cost if you were to use energy, but they can't cost less than 1 power bar. So this is interesting. I mean, I don't necessarily see this that much useful in League rates and Soul rates, but at the same time it's not gonna cost you that much, so I guess it could be worth doing to prevent you from dying and make it the fight really safe, because the Despair Debuff is gonna be pretty much forever. But at the same time, there might be a situation where you'd simply rather just save up for the final form and just go do that. At the same time, I'm not sure if the specials used while in this form are going to further generate Crisis Energy, because that's how you generate it. You use specials, and you can also consume it to use specials, and I'm thinking if the specials that you're using with this energy are also going to generate energy by themselves. But nevertheless, an interesting passive, though yet again the optimal gameplay for damage for him might not include gameplay with this passive, but at the same time it might be reasonably good to use it 3 times at the start of the fight, just to make sure that the opponent is gonna pretty much deal no damage to you. So yet again, interesting passive. And the last thing is going to be Master Manipulator. This is going to increase his Crisis Energy generation if he has 18 combos or higher. So pretty much if you're at 18 combos or higher, you're going to generate Crisis Energy faster. We already explained what the Crisis Energy is going to do. Pretty much transform you into your final form. So yeah, this is pretty self-explanatory and quite easy to understand, this one. Okay, so this is going to be the first special, which is going to be called Jokerized. Batman Left throws a Jokerized card at the opponent with a chance to taunt them and force them to use a random special. So this is going to give you 3 Crisis Bar, and because you're forcing the opponent to use a random special, I guess you're playing into the gameplay of pretty much forcing him to be hit by your second passive, because as he uses a special, you're going to counter his special using some Crisis Energy bars. So quite interesting, they quite give him the tools to activate all his passive and use them at full potential, though yet again not sure how this will be used as the perfect damage dealer gameplay with him, but we'll see, maybe it's worth it. Second special, Goblin Slap. So his second special and third special, if you don't know the lore of Batman Who Laughs, like it's pretty much a Batman who became Joker. And he's got some pet ghoul Robins. So his second and third specials are going to pretty much make use of them. And this is going to cause Sounder debuff, making the opponent not being able to block or use shields, and removing any active shields that he's got, and also adding you some Crisis Bars. Interesting. Third special is going to pretty much throw some more Robins at him, some more ghoul Robins, so yeah. Cool stuff, cool stuff. It's also going to generate all the way to 5 Crisis Bars. So maybe the way to play him is to like reduce the cost of this to 5 with the power reduction character and just spam it. Because this is so far the highest Crisis Bars that you're going to get from an ability. And yet again, I think the optimal gameplay might be for you to stay in your ultimate form as much as possible, because that's obviously going to give you the most amount of damage. And it's also gonna have some dot damage, which is half the normal damage. I'm not sure about that, because usually when the damage split for something is gonna be like something damage and half of it dot damage. The dot damage is gonna have quite underwhelming values. But at the same time, I don't mind it. And it's generating 5 Crisis Bars, so we'll see how that goes. And this super move, it's pretty much gonna also generate some Crisis Bars for him and also increase his duration. His damage throughout the duration of the fight, excuse me. And yeah, I think this is definitely gonna be worth doing because of overall damage increase, and you're also getting some Crisis Bars for using it, so yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Also, another thing that's not in the first gameplay, and it's not specified in any of the abilities, so this might be taken out in the final release of the character, is going to drop a hazard similar to kind of a combination between the Joker hazard in Dawn of Apocalypse and the Darkseid hazard, because it's gonna kind of fall from the sky, but it's gonna look like the Joker hazard bomb. So it's basically a hazard, and if the enemy is going to sit in it, it goes all the way up to 14 ticks. It's not gonna damage, but if the enemy stays for all the way to 14 ticks in it, it's going to pretty much hack him, like Brainiac's third passive. And if you stay in it, you'll receive unblockable on all attacks until the end of the battle. But yet again, I'm not sure this will be in the final form because it's not like in the spreadsheet of abilities, but we are yet to see that. Okay, so overall, this is by default gonna be in the top 6 teams, most likely in the top 10 teams. This character looks amazing overall, and I feel like they did a very good job at offering some diversity with it. Like, it's the same good old thing, percentage health damage, that's gonna make him deal damage. And look, there's a good way to do this, and there's a bad way to do this. The bad way was Deathstroke. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, Deathstroke is going to be a very good character, and I'm so glad we have him. But I feel like this percentage damage was introduced kind of in a lazy way. It was like, oh, you use special 2, you deal percentage damage. Now they kind of evolved to the point where, oh, you need to do this, you transform, and then you deal percentage damage. So it's a slightly more engaging gameplay, and we get some diversity in terms of that, so I really do like that. Other than that, his specials kind of all tie into the mechanic of transforming, so I don't feel like they're that strong by themselves. So if he didn't have the transform mechanic, he would be kind of trash, to be honest. But he has it, thankfully, and that's what we're going to play around. He's also got some stuff that will make him pretty much unkillable. It's pretty interesting to see how that homing hazard that falls from the sky will work. Or maybe that's from the new artifact that we're gonna get, but we're gonna get into that slightly later. So I really like what they did with this dude, honestly. I love the fact that they used the Joker character to work on this dude. I think this is the same way it's done in Injustice Gods Among Us, because the alternative, and I'm not sure if in Injustice Gods Among Us he also uses the Joker AI, but the alternative was importing it, and we know that's junky, and the Joker AI is good. It's got, I think the only weakness of the Joker AI in Injustice Mobile is that he's got kind of a short reach on his normal attacks, not the swipe attacks. But other than that, he's got a good swipe right, he's got a fast swipe back, and he's got a very fast opener that will allow for easy combo interruption. So I couldn't be happier that he's got the Joker AI. I think they could have done a little bit more with the super move, to be honest, but again, I don't really care, but some people will mind that it's got the exact same super move as the normal Joker. And yeah, can't wait to get this dude and play him. I'm wondering how his first passive will scale at lower levels, because they have 2 options to do that. It's gonna be all the way to 40% of the opponent's health per battle, and for this one to be bad, it would be something like capping it at a lower maximum for lower star ratings, like if you only have him at 3 stars, you're only going to go all the way to 10%, and the better way to cap it would be like, okay, it's gonna cap at 40%, but you're going to deal only 1% per swipe, so you have to try harder to reach that 40%. But we will see how that goes. But overall, great character, and yet again something that the players asked for, and I couldn't be happier that the players get what they asked for, because they are the ones who play the game, and it's also a character that I've been waiting for to come myself. So yeah, great stuff overall. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
This is the future.